that's just a sample of what we'll be hearing on Christmas Eve, Sunday morning service. Right? Right, okay. Now I'd like to read from the book of Mark, chapter 13, verses 24 through 37. But in those days, after that suffering, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will be falling from heaven, and the powers in the heaven will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. Then he will send out the angels and gather his elect from the four winds, from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven. From the fig tree, learn its lesson. As soon as its branches become tender and puts forth its leaves, you know that summer is near. So also, when you see these things taking place, you know that he is near, at the very gates. Truly I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. But about that day or hour, no one knows, neither the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. Beware, keep alert, for you do not know when the time will come. It is like a man going on a journey. When he leaves home, he puts his slaves in charge, each with his work, and commands that the doorkeeper to be on watch. Therefore, keep awake, for you do not know when the master of the house will come. In the evening, or at midnight, or at cockcrow, or at dawn, or else he may find you asleep when he comes suddenly. And what I say to you, I say to all, keep awake.
Will you join me in the spirit of prayer? God, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts be acceptable to you, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. If you read the newsletter that came out this week, then you already know about why I love Advent. We have a tradition in my family that we started with our children just a few years ago. I made an Advent calendar, yes, me, who hates crafts, can't cut a straight line, doesn't like painting my own pottery, but I made this thing. I nailed nails, 24 of them along a wood plank, and got cards that are laminated with the numbers 1 through 24 on them that hang on those nails in our entryway. Yeah, if you're a leader coming to my house next week, I'd like you to admire it. I made it. And then you turn them over. Our children love this. Every day of Advent, there is an activity. And we do all sorts of fun activities. I mean, this is Advent on steroids. We go for it. All of the Christmas season and the joy and holly jolly is in our house. It's exciting, and it started on Friday. On Friday, we went to the Zoo Lights in Akron. Saw the Addams family there. It was fun, right? And the Grinch. On Saturday, we went to the Polar Express at the Palace. We got there early enough to see the organist playing and then descending into the pit, and a whole theater full of kids and fun. And at the end, our kids got a sleigh bell. Today, my kids aren't here because they're going to go meet Santa at Trinity after church. This is the Advent season, and I love it. Don't you? And here we are in this beautiful sanctuary with those wreaths and trees and lights and all the volunteers who came to make this the holly, jolly, beautiful, sugar plum dusted season that it always is, right? And then we come to church, and how dare the lectionary put that scripture on Advent Sunday, right? Am I right? I mean, you poor people have been going with me through the lectionary. We have been in Holy Week for like 5,000 years, hearing about Jesus preparing for his own death and all of those terrible parables that made people feel heavy and sad about weeping and gnashing of teeth and being thrown out into the outer darkness. And then you came and you showed up and you saw those wreaths outside and the lights and the nativities and the tree and the candles, and weren't you expecting a holly, jolly, sugar plum dusted message about the baby or about no room at the inn or about something other than this apocalyptic stuff we've been hearing for months? I mean, really, the lectionary, in front of the Christmas tree, you're going to talk about suffering and the moon darkening? When I saw it, I was a little bit offended. And if you heard it and you were offended, I understand. But the truth is, that's the first Sunday of Advent scripture, because God is an honest God, right? Because Jesus comes to save the world as the Messiah. Because when we light that candle for hope, we're not lighting it for the hope of new shoes on Christmas morning, right? Not lighting it for the hopes of our Christmas lists and that all that sugar plum and holly, jolly, jingle bell fun. It's not us hoping that that'll just turn out well, right? Because even though, if you follow me on Facebook, there were pictures of lighting Advent candles and going to the Polar Express and the zoo and all of the fun that we're having. And even though I'm sure you're all feeling extremely joyful next to this Christmas tree this morning, the honest truth is different than that sometimes, right? On Saturday, when we showed up with our kids to the Polar Express at the Palace Theater, 2 rows in front of us were 5 friends from Felix's class, all together, with matching reindeer antlers on their heads. And snack bags that one of the moms had made for all 5 of them. And Felix saw them and said hi and sat down 2 rows behind them. And the whole movie, he watched the Polar Express a little bit, but he also watched those 5 friends, the ones that were at his birthday party 6 weeks ago, who were there without him. Because sometimes in the holidays, along with the holly jolly, there's the pain of exclusion or loneliness. We lit our Advent wreath and we sent a picture of our candle last night to our mentor and friend Johnny Ray, who we visited last weekend when I wasn't here. We were in Mississippi on the farm. But the second night we were there, Johnny had to leave. We had dinner alone in his farmhouse as he was rushing to the bedside of his mother, who's 97 years old and who's dying. It was at that dinner table that my 6-year-old and my 8-year-old looked at me and said, "So mommies die." We light the candle not because of our Christmas list or the wish that we have for Santa, not because we're here in church to worship a holly, jolly Jesus, but because we worship an honest God who acknowledges that there have been times that people hear this scripture and wonder if right now is the apocalypse. They hear about war and hard things across the world when it feels like systems are crumbling and pain is everywhere. And I get that question more sincerely now than ever as a pastor. Is it now? Is everything falling apart right now? And so we come to church on the first Sunday of Advent and light that candle of hope. Not because we know if it's now, because the scriptures say we will never know the day or the hour that all of it will change. But we light that candle of hope in the midst of grief and exclusion, in the midst of war, in the midst of hardship and sad things on the news, in the midst of the losses that we carry here in this very room, in the midst of the contrast between what we put out there about what is bright and shiny and holly jolly and sugar plum dusted and what is true. We light the candle of hope and we study this scripture, which is really a promise about Jesus being the Messiah. And in case you were wondering, Messiah doesn't mean someone wearing a red hat coming on a sleigh and bringing you what you hoped for in a stocking. Messiah means rescuer. Messiah means savior. Messiah means promised and still coming. Messiah means that in a time where there is exclusion and hardship, where there's grief, where mommies do die, where there's war, where there's things that we carry, and even though we want to come around the Christmas tree and forget it and light a candle and pretend that what we're here to do is sing jingle bells, we light the candle of hope and we study the scripture and we come to church because Jesus is a Messiah who comes alongside hardship and pain, who says in a scripture like today that even when it seems like the whole moon and sun is dark and we don't know what could possibly happen, a light shines in the darkness. It's that little light of hope. And the darkness will never overcome the light. And that is the message of Advent. Amen.